What if I told you that the person holding you back is you? That's exactly what James discovered. A college dropout who everyone wrote off. A guy who chose comfort over progress. But then one moment changed everything. And by the end of this story, you'll understand why laziness isn't your enemy, it's actually trying to teach you something. Let's dive in. James was 22 years old, living in his parents' basement in suburban Ohio. Sound familiar? He had a job, technically. He worked part-time at a warehouse, packing boxes. But here's the thing, James never did the work the hard way. While other employees were busting their backs, James figured out shortcuts. He built a system where he could scan, sort, and pack boxes using a specific sequence that required minimal movement. His manager noticed. Not because James was lazy, but because he was smart about being lazy. Why work harder when you can work smarter? James would say. But there was a problem. That smartness? It only worked in that warehouse. Nowhere else. One day, James's father suffered a stroke. Suddenly, the weight of responsibility crashed down. His dad couldn't work. His mom was heartbroken. The bills didn't stop coming. And James had to figure it out. For the first time in his life, shortcuts didn't exist. He got a second job. Then a third. He was exhausted, more tired than he'd ever been. And one night, sitting in his car at 2 a.m. between shifts, James broke down. Not because of the work, but because he realized something. I could have been doing this the whole time. I could have already been somewhere. But I chose comfort. And now my family is paying the price. That's when it hit him. Laziness isn't about being unmotivated. It's about avoiding pain. And avoidance always costs more later. The next morning, James made a decision. He was tired of running from hard work. So he stopped running. He enrolled in online coding courses, something he'd always said was too hard. He worked his warehouse job. He took the courses at night. It was brutal. There were nights he wanted to quit. Times he told himself, this is too much. But here's what changed, James had a reason bigger than his comfort. He wasn't coding for himself anymore. He was coding for his family. For his dad. To prove that he could be someone they could depend on. 6 months later, James landed his first freelance coding gig. $500. It wasn't much, but it was proof that hard work actually works. 1 year later, he got hired as a junior developer. $65,000 a year. 2 years later, he was making 6 figures. But here's what James told me when I interviewed him. The money wasn't the victory. The victory was realizing that I was capable all along. I just needed a reason stronger than my comfort. See, laziness preys on people without purpose. It whispers, why try? Why work hard? Why push yourself? And if you don't have an answer, a real answer, you'll listen to it every time. But when you have a reason, when you know why you're pushing, that's when laziness has no power over you. James's reason was his family. Maybe yours is different. Maybe it's proving people wrong. Maybe it's building the life you've always imagined. Maybe it's becoming someone your future self will be proud of. But you need to find it. Because without it, comfort will always win. And comfort is the enemy of greatness. The question isn't whether you're capable of hard work. The question is, do you have a reason big enough to do it? If you do, everything changes. If you don't, well, you already know where that leads. So ask yourself right now, what's your reason? Don't answer out loud. Just think about it. Because the moment you know your answer, you're already halfway there. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your future self will thank you. See you in the next one.